What's up, people? Welcome back to another episode of WrestleManiac UK podcast. It is time for a Raw review. Really good show of Raw. I'm not alone. I'm with a co-host, Graps, with Gabe. Gabe, what you saying, bro?
Yo, it's good to be back, man. I've not been here for a few weeks now. But man, it's good to be back, man. And yeah, got a lot to talk about with Raw and everything like that as well.
It's good to have you back, man.
Yeah, man, it's good to be back, man. It's good to be back. Let me just put a quick PSA out there. Yeah, I know you lot see who's behind me, innit? I just want to say now, it's not affiliations. Yeah, it's just it looked nice when I bought it. You know what I mean? And I bought it a little while back, so you know, don't affiliate me with the brother behind me, innit? Just put it like that. I'm not with him. You know what I mean? I'm not with him. So just put it out there now, innit?
You bought it, and then he decided to be an idiot on Monday night. So it is what it is.
I put this up like 3 weeks ago, yeah, before this brother got booed out of the flipping Into It Dome last week. So I'm thinking, yeah, man, Hogan, what? NWO? Yeah, that's cool, man. And then I found out brother got booed in it. So deservedly, though.
And I saw that they're bringing him back for Saturday night main events and stuff.
You know what? I mean, business-wise, I mean, this is WWE, innit, man? Like, Hogan's going to be a heat magnet one way or another in it. Do you know what I mean? I want to say he garners a reaction, but obviously last week has proved that we're past the brother era, man.
Yeah, there's nothing he can do.
Era, so.
Like, even if he wanted to use his heat to try and get like a young heel over or something like that, he like his promos are poor. Like his promos are crap.
It's rinse and repeat with him, bro. Like if Hogan don't start a promo with, well, let me tell you something, brother, then what are we doing? Do you know what I mean? Like it's in his kind of signature thing, innit? But I mean, when I was watching Raw last week and I saw he got booed out of the dome, yeah, I can't even lie, I was creasing. I was absolutely creasing. But I mean, I think they were saying as well that like they kind of saw he kind of had that heel kind of heat to him, and they're kind of thinking to maybe use it.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past Hogan putting that rumor out himself. But like, it's like, yeah, what can he really offer? Because he can't wrestle, and he can't really cut promos that's going to help to get someone over. So, what are you really here for apart from getting booed? Are you going to take bumps for this new person or whatever? Like, just call it a day and sit at Yardman and collect your checks and done.
Yeah, man.
Totally done with Hogan. But Hogan wasn't on this show. We have no reason to be talking about him.
Man. Let's move on. Let's move on, man.
Let's move on. We're talking about Monday Night Raw from January 13th. We're gonna get into it. Start with all the main stories that transpired on the show, especially Penta's debut. I know everyone's been chatting and giving their 2 pence on Penta's debut. We're going to bring our own. But of course, before you do, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And of course, you can get this on your podcast platforms as well. Google, Apple, Spotify, all those usual places. Check in with Gabe as well. Graps with Gabe on TikTok, X, and Instagram. We're going to get into this one, man. And like I say, we're going to start at the most newsworthy bit of this entire show. Pentagon Jr., Pentagon, El Zero Miedo, all of them things. But in WWE, seems like he's just going to be known as Penta. He has finally shown up. And for me, it was kind of like, okay, we were meant to get him last week, but they maybe a masterstroke, leaving him to this week. San Jose, a very kind of Latin fueled crowd, which I guess resonated well with debuting Penta. Like, I just thought like everything worked in this, just from like a presentation standpoint and debut standpoint, before we get into everything that happened in this segment and match. Gabe, what did you think about it?
Man, honestly, man, Penta, Cero, boy, I was watching this at 6 o'clock this morning before I went to work. I nearly was going to have my mum whoop my ass, bro, because I was getting so gassed. I had to contain myself, bro. Like, talk about making someone look very important from the jump. Like, and me and you were talking about this before we jumped on the stream, innit? We were saying that, like, you know, we've been noticing that there's a bit of a gap sometimes when it kind of goes between the flowing of like matches to segments to entrances and stuff like that. But in a weird way, even that little bit of like added delay to Penta's thing, I was just there like, bro, I beg, hurry up. I just want to see Penta come out. And when the lights went off, yeah, bro, I was nearly losing my mind and nothing even happened yet. Like, the entrance was so good. I like how, again, if you're a fan of Penta, there was that signature thing of, you know, Penta's entrance from, you know, obviously AEW and kind of like where he's been all over the world. He still has that same feel to him. He's not been like repackaged completely or anything like that. The theme music was cold, loved it. The pyro coming out from behind him was amazing.
That was mental.
The dance, even the little jig that he did, bro, was phenomenal, man. Like, honestly, like, I think I've been thinking about his debut all day, bro. I genuinely think that is one of the best, like, in terms of visual presentation. I actually think that's one of the best debuts WWE has done in ages. He looked important. He felt important. The crowd, again, they loved him. Obviously, I don't know if is he from San Jose? I know he's obviously like from Mexico and stuff, but obviously the way he was kind of talking with them seemed like he kind of had a bit of a budding with them.
I don't think he lives in San Jose. I'm not sure, but I don't think he does. But again, it's one of those places they chose, you know, one of those. It could have been like an El Paso, Texas, not Mexico, but big Latin community. And they've chose San Jose. You know, same reason they had Bailey out there later on in the show.
Yeah.
Because she's a native. Bailey's of Latin descent as well. Like, it's very smart. Like, it's so well positioned.
Very smart.
Like, LA has a large you know, what do they call it? Latin American following. Like, a lot of Latin American people live in LA, but obviously that show last week was very celebrity culture. Like, you know, it was different sort of thing.
He would have been lost in the conversation because, again, like, everyone's big talking points was The Rock was there, you know, Hogan, Taker, Roman and Solo with the tribal combat, CM Punk and Seth Rollins, and I think obviously where those were kind of like very highly anticipated. Penta in the middle of that, I don't think it would have been like just, you know, kind of like a bit of a dead horse. It would have just been lost in the wayside. But I think for the reaction he got this week and for the attention he's got, you know, on Raw, post that as well, all of that, like, I don't think it would have been the same thing. It would have been good, but this was better, way better move in the end. I obviously Triple H said that last week's Raw was a bit of a one-off. Like, it was just kind of meant to be like their elevator pitch of like, this is who we are, by the way, Netflix, if you've never heard of us. These are some people that you might know and you're familiar with. But this week was like, right, wrestling fans, we're back. You know Penta. And yeah, man, phenomenal. And then we're not even talking about the match yet. We've not even talked about the match yet.
Bruv, like, I watched this, and like yourself, I was pretty much in awe of what I'm seeing. And like, I'm not trying to, you know, rub salt in AEW fan wounds, or I'm not trying to over egg what I saw, but, you know, he had an entrance in AEW. It was a pretty good entrance, pretty fun at times. They done the one where he comes out from behind the tombstone. They done the big entrance All In 2021, when he had I think he had a rapper with him and all of this kind of stuff. Like, nice entrances. But this is someone that we haven't seen for a decent amount of time on AEW TV, and they've brought him in at a level. And I'm always saying, because I remember back when like Kane debuted, or, you know, when I first saw like Kane and stuff, and it wasn't like Kane was a main eventer for his 20 whatever years in the WWE. But if you bring someone in at that level, like, they either stick because the crowd want them to stick there, or then they can down into their regular place, right? You know, if you bring them in at lower mid card level, that climb to main event, like, because you're showing me a jobber, you're showing me a jobber, sort of thing. Like, you're better off showing me someone and telling me this person is a star. Like, okay, Karrion Kross NXT. A lot of people have a lot of mixed feelings, mixed comments on Karrion Kross, right? but you presented him from day one as a star. Like, and then we had to believe when he became NXT two-time NXT champion. It was only to the main roster where he kind of lost his way a bit. So when I'm seeing Penta, and I'm just seeing, they've presented him like a top guy, like a star. Presentation looks proper, like you mentioned, music, this, that, and the other. And presentation is the key thing, because let's be honest, he's probably had his best run, like maybe in ring wise, at Lucha Underground, at AEW, at TNA. He's probably done his best work in ring already. This man is 40, 41, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong.
Is he 41?
He's in his 40s, 100%.
To be fair, why am I talking, man? The guy wears a mask and face paint all the time. I'm acting like I can see if he's got wrinkles or not, man.
the man's in his 40s. So it's like, we're in the paycheck era, not the Penta era. We're in the paycheck era. But I can't help but look at this and just see AEW. Big up Dell. Dell says he's 39. Okay, I'm always 39. Aging everybody. I'm always aging people. Okay, so he's 40 next month. I look at this and I just feel like AEW feel like they're constantly handing WWE stars. Like, these people do a good job in AEW to the most part. They have a decent run. But then when WWE, and obviously we know WWE are probably amplifying it and over egging it to make AEW look what you had.
Didn't Michael Cole say when he pinned him, he said, welcome to the big time?
Welcome to the big league or something.
I heard that and I was just like, little light jab in it. letting AEW know.
Yeah, I can't help but think like they are like, it's like a platform. It's almost like NXT, respectfully, for WWE at this point, because some of these guys go there, they're doing some great work, and then they're gonna come to WWE, and then WWE's gonna put said machine behind them. Like Jade Cargill, when she came, literally said, "I haven't got time in this thing. I'm coming here because the machine is here and the machine is ready. This isn't a new company that we're trying to figure out backstage, this, that, and the other. Everything's ready to go here, so I'm coming here."
I think though there's something to be said about that, because when it's, think of it like this, right? If Penta came in as like the third match on Monday Night Raw, and he's facing, not to be rude, but like Akira Tozawa, like, who's obviously not got a lot of backing behind him, is there on TV and people might know him, but he's not there. And then it's kind of one of those ones where it's way more of a soft launch. All you're going to be hearing is, WWE bought these guys and they're just trying to show AEW that they don't care about the talent, blah, 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 blah. When obviously, bear in mind, like, WWE, their business first. At the end of the day, it's not about where a talent's been. It's about what does a talent bring to the table. At the end of the day, if you're a commodity, I don't care about where you've been. I care about what you're going to do here. So if you're going to do big things here, cool. Meet me halfway and let's see what we can come up with, and let's see how we can make you look as best as possible. Because bear in mind, like, Penta's been presented well. It's up to him to obviously show that consistency across, and I don't have any doubts that Penta will do so. But again, that's the whole thing about, we kind of give you that olive branch. Let's see what you can do with what we give you. I think as well, a lot of people get tied into like, immediately the moment WWE made Penta look great, immediately it had to be like, AEW, man, look at how you need to be treating people, this and that. Sometimes I don't even think it needs to be about like WWE are trying to show AEW what a star is meant to look like. I think WWE are just like, yo, we've got a hot talent on our hands. Let's make them look good, and justifiably so. Like, Penta lent in so well with the crowd throughout the match, and again, like, when I was obviously watching him and Chad Gable, I couldn't kind of help but think about another person debuting against a very similar kind of athlete like Chad Gable. Because Rey Mysterio did the same thing with Kurt Angle, SummerSlam 2002, right? And I was like, it wasn't obviously mirrored, but very similar, where like they were the opening match on SummerSlam, and immediately, like, if you don't know who Rey Mysterio is, bruv, you just got that immediate exposure, and boom, now you know. And having Penta be first on the card was the perfect choice, because it's literally like, you've tuned in, you are always going to pay attention to the first thing that pops up on your TV screen. And then you've obviously got Chad Gable cutting a very atypical heel promo. And then you're like, right, cool. So who's the lucha he's bringing out? And then when they bring out that guy and the presentation is big, immediately your stocks are in him. And I think they accomplished that. I absolutely think that's the thing that they accomplished this with Penta debuting. And again, like I said, we still haven't even talked about the match yet, bro. The match.
It's just, I think it's just one of them moments, and you could see, you know, kind of skipping to after the match, you could see what it meant to him in it. Like, you could see, like, this guy said that you guys wanted this for a long time. I've wanted this for a long time.
For a long time, yeah.
Which is, you know, could be damning to where he's just come from as well, with all that whole saga around his contract, his brother's contract in Ray Phoenix. But at the same time, you know, let's again be completely honest. These people more or less, you know, more time aspire to get to the WWE. Like, that's what they were watching when they were coming up in Mexico, or, you know, their little town in America, or whatever the case may be. Like, this is what they aspire to before the AEWs and all of these places. Some people want to go to Japan and stuff, or by way of Mexico, or by way of Japan, and then get to America. Yeah, like, this is crazy, like, for him at this age. Like, he's made it finally, like, so you can imagine, like, the emotion must be feeling. You could see his family were in tears for the entire match that he had, like,
I saw like in the crowd, obviously I think it was his daughter or something, was obviously in emotional, in tears even after the match as well. But like, just to jump on your point as well about kind of like, say, you know, you're in AEW but your dream is to go to WWE. I don't think there's a problem with that, because if it's me, you've got to look at it like, if I'm at the company I'm at, I'll play ball when I'm here. But like, at the end of the day, I might have aspirations to do other things, and that's cool, because I know there's going to be people that are like, yo, I'm an AEW for life, and that's cool. Like, if you are, because if generally for you, you're like, I've hit the ceiling here, then that's great. But I feel like sometimes there is this negative tendency of like, if someone is in one place and they want to go to another place because they believe the ceiling is better, people's immediate reaction is like, oh, well, then clearly, you know, you clearly were using this as a stepping stone. And what if I was? Because, like, again, wrestling is a business. We still got to remember that, like, when you're in this as a business, you are a brand. You are your own person. You're a trademark. You're an asset. And you've got to see, where does this asset land best? So, yeah, I might be in AEW for 4 years because, you know what? It's good to get some exposure with people. And while I'm there for the 4 years, I will play ball. I'll work with whoever you want me to work with. I'll be in whatever division you want me to be in. Cool. I'll toe the company line. I'll do the interviews. I'll do the press. I'll do the media. But if in a few years' time I go, all right, cool, I've had my taste of this, and my goal is still the same, I want to go somewhere else, bro, that's completely blessed. But I think, like, there is, again, this tribalism around where you can and can't be, and how you transition from one thing to the other. And we just need to scrap it, bro, because, again, it's a business first, and it always will be. So if Penta's, you know, obviously Penta in AEW, at first, I think his showing was fantastic. And again, like you were saying, you know, when he was in Death Triangle, when he was obviously with Ray Phoenix, like, again, the presentation there was great. But like he said on that promo, like, this has been my dream. And brother, props to him for getting to fulfill his dream. Like, there's not many people who get to do these kinds of things. You get what I mean? So for him to fulfill his dream, again, at 39, to have his family support him all the way and all those kinds of things, yeah, man, we should be absolutely happy for the guy, bro. He's doing what he wanted to be doing. So big ups to Penta, bro.
Yeah, no, it's a remarkable story, and it was a great debut. Really made him feel like he was important, a big star. Ceiling wise, I think will be very, very interesting as to see what his ceiling is. I'm under no like, WWE aren't pulling the wool over my eyes as to how they've treated these types of talents before. I know, like
this
I said,
will be on WWE Speed fighting Ludwig Kaiser, bro, in March, bro. You lot don't get too trippy yet, man. Let's just be happy today, innit?
Yeah,
don't
this
get
is
too
it.
caught in the
Like,
sauce.
I'm you know, rejoicing over the great debut. Like, obviously things will happen, things will calm down. If we go into WrestleMania season, he'll probably get some match on a WrestleMania card, to be honest. But then, you know, we'll see how he's booked after that. But
if I can drop a quick like little, let's say, fantasy booking, if we can. So I feel like, obviously, you know, he's done the thing with Chad Gable, and again, just want to say as well, very good match. Love the fact that, like, they really did this thing of, they let him slowly build to showing that lucha libre style that we know him for. It wasn't like out of the water, he's just, you know, tilt-a-whirl arm drags and tope con heroes over the top rope. Like, we got a little bit of just watching him kind of move at Chad Gable's speed. And then obviously Gable, you know, doing this thing where, you know, he's obviously targeting the leg and stuff like that. And then we kind of got that slow build of like, yo, Penta can flipping go in this ring. And I love what did they call the move? The arm. I don't want to call it an arm breaker.
Sacrifice.
Yeah, bruv. The way that he even just like let the hesitation for a second to let people kind of go, oh, boom, did it, and then hit his finisher was great. So for me, I feel like if you're gonna move him from here on out, obviously, maybe they're gonna probably team him with Ray. I know that it's most likely what they're gonna do, obviously, with him in the New Day. But I've said it straight. I want him to team with Ray and then be like, respectfully, brother, like I said, my dream is to be here in WWE and I'm here to chase my own thing. So, you know, boom. Obviously, he's probably going to be in the Rumble and I think he'll have a great showing in the Rumble. I would obviously kind of mix him with a lot of, again, the Chad Gable kind of mid-card talents. And then, you know, he might have a face-off with a Rey Mysterio, a face-off with, you know, probably gonna have a face off with CM Punk. Let's just be real. We're gonna have a face off with CM Punk on something like that. And then again, we slowly build towards him getting to. For me, if it was WrestleMania, I would love for them to put the Money in the Bank match at WrestleMania, and I would love for him to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match. That would be the perfect placement for him. Or if they're gonna do a multi-man ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship or something like that, let's just throw that out there. Please put him in that, because again, a one-on-one match at WrestleMania for Penta now may not be where you want to put him, because again, if we put him in a one-on-one match this year, the expectation for WWE fans is going to be way too high. And again, if he's now wrestling on speed in a few weeks after that, people are going to be like, oh, you know, the machine's no longer backing him, blah, 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 blah. So I think it's better to keep soft launching him the way that we've done. So put him in a multi-man match where he's around a bunch of people, but he can be the highlight of it. And then throughout the year, just let him build towards the IC title match. Because him and Bron Breakker, that will move mountains, bruv. Match will move mountains.
We'll get to Breakker because he was on the show and he's got some developments coming out of Raw. But yeah, just to wrap up this bit on Penta, like I say, I think it was a really good showing. Like you said, we had the sacrifice, and then we had the Penta driver as well, which was great. Very emotional, great promo. They're saying that he went too long in his segment. It is what it is. I guess he will learn that, you know, WWE kind of run that tighter ship when it comes to their programming. I guess there isn't that, even though they're on Netflix and there's the opportunity to kind of go over and stuff like that on time. Yeah, maybe he will kind of understand going forward that he'll have to kind of rein it in if he gets those opportunities. But even that, seeing him get that opportunity in the ring, cutting those promos, you know, he might have had some backstage stuff in AEW. I don't think he ever cut a promo in the ring, you know, in AEW, really. So
Alex, I can't remember what his name is, but Alex whatever.
Abrahantes.
Yeah, I know people were kind of trying to be like, yo, they'd never let Penta cut a promo in AEW. It's mad. But again, like, what's the point in having man do the Penta? Like, the Penta says thing obviously was, I think, like a thing to kind of get over. Do you get what I mean? I don't necessarily think it was because they didn't really want to give Penta a microphone. Do you get what I mean? But
yeah,
you know, people want to do their business in it.
Yeah, big up Johnny Too Hotty in the chat, says WWE are always going to win against AEW when it comes to the machine. Yeah, I just think sometimes it's business, in it. WWE always put business first, and AEW want to put wrestling and pro wrestling first, sort of thing. So that's where we can. There's a gap, there's a bridge, which needs to be built across the two. But yeah, awesome first showing. Chad Gable was really happy with the match as well. I saw him kind of tweet out, you know, that, you know, this restoring the feeling somewhat for him. So yeah, that is good to see, man. But a lot happened on this show. Let's move on to another big kind of learn within this whole show. The show actually opened up with CM Punk, who came out and he talked about John Cena. He talked about now being John Cena entering himself in the Rumble. Punk wants to chase what he wants to chase, so he's going to be in the Rumble as well. He was interrupted by Rollins, who came out and declared himself for the Rumble as well. And in typical fashion, Drew McIntyre came out. He declared himself for the Rumble. I absolutely love the dynamic of these three. I think these three are great. Like, they're just great TV together, sort of thing.
I love how they piss one another off so much. Like, Punk was like, hit my music. Says music hits. Brother got so vexed. I think he even said, what do you say? He's like, why can't Rhea Ripley be the one? Why can't it be Rhea Ripley?
Yeah. Yeah. He plays it up really well.
And they both just were like, they're like, oh, for flip's sakes, like, we're doing this again.
Yeah, it was really good stuff. And so I think right now the field at Royal Rumble stands at Punk, Rollins, Drew McIntyre, John Cena, LA Knight, and Roman Reigns.
I think they also said Jey Uso as well. Jey Uso's also put himself.
Well, yeah, Jey Uso said, later on in the show. Yeah, that's right. Jey Uso said, looking good in terms of, I guess, star power. Like, we know there's going to be names, even like a Randy Orton that probably returns and enters here. There could be surprises on top of, the regular roster. Close to the time, I'm sure we will kind of address this as we kind of maybe get more clues in the next week or so. But right now, who is your pick to win the Royal Rumble?
I have to say it's going to Phil Brooks, bruv. It's going to CM Punk. That's my pick. The reason I say this is because, and it was particularly about his promo. When he cut this promo on Raw, when he was saying like, oh, obviously last year, I had this dream, it got robbed from me, blah, 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 blah. And I've been looking at the year that Punk's had, obviously, where, him and the Drew feud was amazing, being in War Games with them lot as well. And then you win the first match obviously you win your first, he wins his first match of this year, and obviously it's on Netflix. For me, you can't build momentum like that and not cap it with the Rumble win. And again, he was bigging up the fact that, my dream is to main event WrestleMania. And I don't believe there's a timeline in which Triple H is not going to give that to him at some point in time. And I think, again, it's also about knowing timings, because really speaking, with the field he's in, Roman doesn't need to win the Rumble. Cena does not need to win the Rumble. LA Knight's not winning the Rumble. Jey Uso is not winning the Rumble. Seth is not winning the Rumble. Like honestly, CM Punk is genuinely, for me, the person that I think is going to win it. I don't know, obviously, title-wise, what that looks like in terms of, obviously, and this is the thing as well. This is why I love the Rumble field this year, because it's all ambiguous. Like, we really don't know what's going on. But again, I keep thinking to myself that, obviously, again, WWE are business first. It's your first Royal Rumble and on Netflix. You are going to want to have a familiar name win it. For me, the three big names that are going into it is obviously Roman, it's Punk, and it's Cena. I just think Cena potentially winning it just, I can't put a spin on it, but something about it, I'm just like, it'll be a good moment, but the moment it's over, like, people are going to be like, wait a minute, the brother who's not been wrestling in how many years and lost in however 2000 or something, however many days, brother wins the Royal Rumble. I don't think it's that easy for Cena. Yeah. I don't think it's that easy of a year for him. And again, I think Punk, again, he's done great stuff for the company in the last year. He's towed the company line. People are very positive about him being back in the WWE. Give it to him, man. I think CM Punk is a WrestleMania main eventer. Like, we've all established this. I think just give it to him. This is the year to give it to him.
The thing, okay, so with Cena, I think if I had to choose, I don't want either of these, let that be known. But if I had to choose, I'd rather him win Elimination Chamber to get his title match than win the Rumble.
Cena or Punk?
Cena.
Yeah, agreed.
I'd rather him win the Elimination Chamber than win the Royal Rumble. With Punk, I think he could win the Rumble. I think he could win the Rumble, but now it's like, who's he going after? The title picture. I don't see Gunther versus Punk intriguing enough for WrestleMania now. So it means that either Gunther drops the title before then, or it means that maybe we are looking at some type of multi-man situation for the World Heavyweight title. And I'm not sure Punk wants his Mania main event to come in the shape of a multi-man.
It shouldn't be, to be fair. If there's one thing I feel like is when you win the Royal Rumble, you deserve, like, think about it. I beat 29 people. My reward should be fighting one person for the world title. That should be my reward for winning the Royal Rumble. And yeah, no, I hear you. I even like the WWE title picture if you wanted to flip it that way. Cody and Punk, it's like, don't get me wrong, if that was the match, I wouldn't necessarily be vexed. But in the same breath, we've not really been going there. Do you know what I mean? Like, Punk and Cody was obviously the big talking point going into the Rumble last year because they were both in the Rumble. But for me, I don't know, man. Like, it just don't make it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? Like, Punk winning makes sense, but it's just where he goes afterwards doesn't. But for me, it's just if Cena wins, like, I just think like Cena's come out and cut this promo of, yeah, maybe I can do it this way, maybe I can do it this way. But again, I feel like the Cena story needs to be a bit of like, bro, you're not the guy you used to be. You're not the same Superman that you once used to be. You need to acknowledge that maybe at this day and age, you're more Clark Kent than you are Superman. I think that needs to be his thing going into this year. Can Roman win? Yes. Do I want Roman to win? Not really, because again, Roman is probably going to be in the main event anyways. The guy don't need to win the Rumble to do that. And again, WWE love to tell a redemption story. You can't tell a good one, like, you know, CM Punk's first. Again, he said it. My first match back, televised match back in years, and I enter the Rumble and my tricep got completely tore off. I'm there thinking, yo, I'm not gonna make it to Mania, blah blah blah, and then he didn't make it to Mania anyways. I feel like WWE, knowing them, they then gonna go, right, the new next year's one's coming around though. This is the one where you tell the redemption of, oh Lord, I hear Michael Cole doing it. Last year, CM Punk had to leave with a torn tricep. This year, he's leaving with the ticket to WrestleMania. But bro, I can just hear it. I can hear it. But Jem just put something in the chat, and I keep saying this. If we hear number 31, it's The Rock, and The Rock wins, I'll laugh my head off. I will laugh my head off.
Listen, I need a pen. I said this back in August that I could see this happening. Yeah. Like, he comes out at number 31.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he wins it at this point because of obviously what they done last week with the Cody stuff. But maybe him coming out and having some type of altercation with Roman might be enough within the match to kind of start motivating their match. So yeah, to be honest, I think The Rock is out of Mania at this point, and with how he's seemingly acted, I think he just needs to kind of be out of the picture and let's just crack on with the stories, because it's come pretty quickly since we've been in the new year. Like, we are 2 weeks away from the Rumble. And this is it now. That some stories, I think Triple H has said recently, like, everything's basically penciled in at this point. WrestleMania.
I think he said he's penciled the main event in.
Yeah, but I don't need my man to come over here and start, you know, making man pull out the eraser and changing plans. Like,
but the thing is though, part of me just still does not fully believe these whole things they're saying that The Rock's not going to be there. Part of me just does not believe it, because again, I think there is something about, we've been predicting for so long, The Rock and Roman, Rock and Cody, blah 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 blah. Part of me feels like it's in WWE's thing to like slightly make you think, bro, they did it last year with Cody. We were all like, yeah, Cody and Roman, blah 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 blah, and then what happened? The Rock came in and we were all like, oh, guess we're not getting Cody and Roman. And then we got Cody and Roman. Part of me feels like there is a thing that WWE likes to do sometimes where when they get to WrestleMania season, they maybe start to be a bit too over ambiguous and they kind of want to start blurring every line that, you know, people think is a thing as much as possible. So part of me is not fully believing that The Rock is not going to wrestle at WrestleMania. And again, this guy's been saying, when he was cutting that promo saying, about when WWE comes to Netflix and everything like that, he's been a massive force behind that. Netflix are going to want to have him at WrestleMania. They are going to want WWE to pull every stop to get The Rock to do WrestleMania. I know obviously he's got Moana and stuff and whatever, but I just don't believe it, bro. I just don't believe in him not showing up. I don't believe it. Part of me thinks, like, again, we got a hectic road to WrestleMania last year. We got that press conference that went mad last year. I just, part of me thinks, bro, this is an unpredictable one again. And we're going to get another thing where it's just going to be super unpredictable. But if there's one thing I do feel confident on, is CM Punk has to be in the main event of WrestleMania this year, because I just don't know, like, can he sustain another year of us having this conversation of CM Punk being in the main event again? I don't know.
I'm not sold that he needs to be in the main event this year. He will get his main event. I'm not sold that it needs to be this year. I think the title pictures and stuff is still maybe quite mucky for us fans. They might know what they want to do. So yeah, there's nothing that kind of shows me right now on the TV and what I'm watching that needs to happen now, sort of thing. Apart from if you're just looking at it from the fact of, will this guy's body hold up for another year? That's the only reason that you might want to pull the trigger now. But yeah, nothing else determines that from what we're seeing right now. So maybe we just have to give it some weeks and see. Big up Jem in the chat. He said, like we're saying, this must be one of the most exciting Rumbles. Yeah, I think there's a lot of names here to play with.
Not just going to be an exciting Rumble. It is going to be an exciting night to be a part of the Wrestling's Discord, especially the Predictions League. People are going to be having meltdowns. People are going to be having the time of their lives, bro. Even last year when we did Rumble, all we were doing when we were watching the Rumble was, "Oh, yo, was that your prediction? Oh, flip! Oh no, you did it with the Rumble, bro." It's going to be the same thing this year. Same thing this year.
It'll be good fun. It always is.
Yeah,
it always is. Let's move now and go over to some of the championship action that happened on the show. We had a women's intercontinental championship match to decide the new women's intercontinental champion.
Sorry, Max. We got to pause. I need you to pull up one of Jem's comments. Jem, we need to chat now.
What did he say?
You see the comment about the dark horse? Check the dark horse comment, please.
The dark horse to win it, Logan Paul.
Jem, something got to fly, and Logan Paul is not it, bruv. I'm sorry. Logan Paul
is not it, man.
Logan Paul. Oh yeah. Sorry. I know we completely deteriorated, but I saw it and I was like, "There's no way I can just let this one fall to the wayside, brother." I'm sorry.
Logan Paul is not. He's not the guy. I don't want to see him in any title pictures. I don't mind if he comes and has like special singles matches, good exhibition matches. But yeah, I think
keep him at attraction.
Yeah.
We're on Netflix now. Like, you know, they've leaned into the boxing and stuff like that. Obviously, Jake Paul just recently had the thing with Tyson. Lean into Logan Paul just being an attraction. I don't think he needs to be a champion. We got him as US champ. Great. That was it. Experiment done.
Yeah, it's done. Cool. Let's talk about the women's intercontinental title picture, man. So we had Dakota Kai and Lyra Valkyria going at it for the right to be called the first ever women's intercontinental champion. Fun match between the two ladies. Probably should have got a bit longer to kind of do what they were doing. That spot in the match where Lyra done the suplex outside the ring onto the ground.
No, I cringed.
Ridiculous.
Bro, the connection when they hit the floor, I generally was like, nah, man, that seemed nasty.
Yeah,
that seemed so nasty. Yeah, man.
It was so bad. Like, but yeah, they both got up from it. They both continued. Yeah, like I say, it was a very good match. I think like these are the kind of names that we need in and around this picture to give them a platform somewhat. You can sprinkle some of the ladies higher up the card to come down and do some matches and stuff. But I think this is where we need to kind of base it around. For the finish, Dakota Kai went in for her kick, her thing she does around the ring, but she missed. Lyra Valkyria hit her with a sling blade, hit her with a Nightwing, which is very similar to the Penta driver. And yeah, pinned her. 1, 2, 3. Lyra Valkyria is your inaugural Intercontinental Champion.
Well deserved.
What did you think of this?
Well deserved. Johnny just put a comment in the chat. Big up Johnny. He said they did their job selling the IC title was the workers' title, and I genuinely felt that when I watched that match. We didn't get like a bit of a longed out one or anything like that. It generally felt like a workers. It felt like they were working that match. I think both a great showing for the both of them. And the thing is as well, it was quite unpredictable for me because part of me did think like, man, Dakota Kai hasn't been a singles champion yet. Is this going to be the time they give it to her? And obviously, she's not had the best of luck with things like injuries and stuff. But Lyra Valkyria, man, I generally think she's so good, man. And I'm so glad that she won. I think she was probably the best choice to be the first champion as well. It was a very good showing as well in terms of, again, we're talking about the presentation for new fans when they're going, right, cool, there's a new women's belt. Like, what's this about? You're seeing two really good wrestlers going at it. And kind of, again, the first match for this championship being given that standard was really, really good. I do agree with you as well. I do think time-wise, they probably could have had a few more minutes because it felt very much like when we got to the finish, like, I think there was that point where Dakota Kai went to go pin her and then she rolled out of the ring. And then it was like everything that happened between that was like 45 seconds and then boom, Lyra Valkyria won. I felt like maybe we could have just got a little bit more of like that, again, when people roll out of the ring and there's that frustration of like, what am I going to do to make this happen? There could have just been that little bit more. But again, it was something very minor in comparison to what was actually a really, really good match. So yeah, man, big ups to Lyra Valkyria. I think it was a good choice. My question to you is, do you think this title will get a WrestleMania match? And if it is, who is the challenger at WrestleMania?
Good question. I think 100% it gets a WrestleMania match. That's one of the things that they cannot lack in doing. Especially they've got two women's mid-card titles now. Put the US title on one night, put the IC title on the other. The women's US title might be a ladder match. Maybe the women's IC title could be like a triple threat or a fatal four-way or something like that. However, one of my plots of thinking if Lyra was to win, which has obviously happened, is this going to bring Becky back to the company?
Yes. What I thought.
Are we going to get Becky versus Lyra for this title? I mean, this might be, well, probably is right now below Becky and everything she's accomplished. And yeah, she might have bigger fish to fry if she enters the Rumble and wins the Rumble. And then all of a sudden her versus Rhea Ripley is the WrestleMania match. Who knows? But yeah, I think I would rather see Becky here. I've just seen Johnny Too Hotty in the comments say Io, Dakota and Lyra 3-way. I would rather see Becky versus Lyra for the IC title, and then Io versus Rhea for the women's title.
Yeah. Give me that.
Yeah, I think that probably works a bit better, and it keeps pushing forward new faces, new names, and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll probably be quite interested in that.
Even give me
Mega Powers podcast in the building. Yeah, sorry, what were you saying?
No, I was saying, just to kind of echo that as well, I think for Lyra, where obviously she's still a name that's on the rise, if you're going to put her in a WrestleMania match, it's good to put her with a name that's probably a bit more established. I think that, again, the danger you run with WrestleMania is that, if this is the first match it's going to have, but it's Lyra versus again, someone who, again, we've not had the chance to kind of see an establishment as a main eventer. It will be a match that gets lost in the shuffle. And again, if you want to elevate this belt, and you want the first match it has at WrestleMania to be a big one, Becky's a very, very good shout for that belt. And again, Rhea and Io for me is the WrestleMania match that Rhea should have, because I don't want to see Liv. We're not. Charlotte and Rhea has been done already. Rhea and Becky has been done already, and I don't think there's anyone else really on Raw right now who's really got that kind of build behind them to kind of fight Rhea. Obviously, I know the transfer window thing for SmackDown's happening, but even if we look at the field on SmackDown, it also doesn't seem.
It's not that inspiring.
It's not super inspiring either. Again, if you want to ask me what I want, if Bianca wanted to make a little trip to Raw, then give me the match that I want. But
that's the match. We're talking about matches that need to happen before we fall off the edge of the cliff. Like, Punk can wait for his main event. This is a match that needs to happen. Sort of thing. But I don't know. I mean, they can obviously heat up Bianca very quickly, and shoot her to something like that. But I think they haven't kind of kept her at peak condition this year, sort of thing.
I do think though that, again, so what? Because she didn't wrestle. She hasn't wrestled on SmackDown. I don't think she wrestled on SmackDown last week. I don't think she wrestled on Raw either.
No, she did. She was in that fatal 4-way that they done.
Yes. So yeah. She was. I feel like let's put it like this. Like, say for example, like Bianca won the Rumble. If Bianca won the Rumble, if on Monday Night Raw the next night she comes out, that crowd is gonna go nuts. And the thing is as well, again, like, this is a match that we've been, having as a fantasy match for ages. I feel like if you just kind of like if you just let her win the Rumble and she comes out, you can tell the story from there. You generally don't have to have like, Bianca doing a backstage promo and hinting that, she might go one place or another. Bianca could generally come out and go like, yo, like, Rhea, girl, we already knew, like, it was always going to come down to this at some point.
It was written.
Like, and it's now. Like, it's happening now. And, bro, everyone's on board. I can't see people giving us the rhetoric of, oh, but where's the story? Where's the story? Bun your previous story, bro. The story starts when Bianca wins the Rumble and shows up. But obviously, again, we're playing fantasy here. I think, realistically speaking, if we're looking at a Rumble winner this year, I feel like it's probably going to be someone on the SmackDown field. It could even be Charlotte, Charlotte and Tiffany.
It could be. Yeah.
It could be.
Charlotte. I mean, I would say if I had to pick women's Rumble winners, front runners for me are Charlotte, Becky, and Io.
Yeah.
One of those three. I'll probably quite confidently put money on it right now. Io's never won a Rumble.
Yeah, no. Io's winning.
One of those three are definitely winning the Rumble, I think. I'll put money on that now. Like, so, yeah, we'll see. I mean, getting back to Lyra, my one caveat with Lyra, my one kind of major thing with her is that I don't think people care yet about Lyra Valkyria. I said this about Andrade pretty much after he returned to the company. When his entrance is happening, no one's really interested in the arena and stuff, right? Once the match starts, people are invested. So in ring isn't the issue. Presentation and communicating that presentation with the crowd is the issue. And we're seeing the exact same thing here for Lyra. Like, once she starts wrestling, people are here for it, and like they're pretty impressed by what they see. Like we've discussed today, but the character, the bird stuff, I feel like the affiliation to whatever this bird thing is too much. I think we spoke about it in the past.
I think Michael Cole said it's like some kind of Irish, like, kind of lore thing that there's a bit of an attachment to it.
Respectfully, bro, it's air. It is air. Like, her affiliation to a bird, should just be I want to soar and reach the heights of WWE. Like, done.
Oh my days. I'm sorry, it's least an affiliation to a bird.
Like, it's all this trying to give nothing meaning. You're literally trying to give nothing meaning.
Yeah. I hear what you said.
She has went from NXT UK to NXT to main roster, all based on her in-ring ability. and how good she is. They've never got the character right. I remember I was at NXT Stand and Deliver in Philadelphia last year. When she had the match with Roxanne, she went in as champion, as the babyface champion. She was getting booed. She was getting booed. Like, people
wanted to see
loved Roxanne.
win,
Like, people wanted to see Roxanne win, and that was a great match. But her character just doesn't connect.
Because I think as well, Roxanne had a period where the character was kind of floundering a little bit when she wasn't champion, and that heel turn just changed things. Like, she went from like the prodigy of like, oh yay, like it's happy to be here and yay, I'm going to be the future, to like, no, like I'm the actual prodigy, like I am the future of this business, and you need to see who I am now. I don't know if like I don't necessarily think that Lyra needs to do something similar, like turn heel or something, but maybe it's just a thing of giving her an additional layer to her character, because again, putting the title on her is not going to solve the problem of whether people are invested or not, because again, the champion should, again, and a new championship at that, should not be making a character. It should be that title was there for the first time ever, and someone who is an established character is holding that belt, and then we get to kind of see how the momentum of being someone without the belt, how does that marry now with bringing a new title into the fold? That's why Chelsea Green, it works for her being the US champion, because Chelsea has a character. Chelsea has a character that people can get behind. She's not obviously like fantastic in ring, but definitely people are getting behind her probably way more than they would the Lyra Valkyria. I think maybe it's a thing where, you know, again, we need to strip back this, again, like we said, this affiliation to the bird. I've said that killed me, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Maybe it's just stripping that back and giving her a bit more of something that, again, for a fan base, which is now going to be mixed of new fans, and they maybe want to see a character that's easy. There's easy attachments to make with a character. Maybe it's just changing that.
Like I say, WWE can kind of give her one of those cheesy WWE catchphrases. Don't have to overhammer it, but if you have to have the bird thing, just say something like, I want to make sure I hit the heights here at WWE. I soar to the top of WWE. And that is it. The woman doesn't need to walk out with feathers on her. You know, she doesn't need to come out with like Titron of birds and stuff flying, like, because it feels like they're trying to kind of force this thing, but no one actually knows what this is. Michael Cole was here telling me this is some type of raven, this thing, bird. Like, bro, I know nothing about birds. I know nothing about birds. I don't care for this. Like, so, like, just humanize her and stop trying to make her some kind of, you know, transformer that transforms from a bird to a woman to a wrestler. Like, and like, just give her, humanize her and let her just cut regular promos and just make sky references and reaching for the sky. That's it. That's enough.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, bro. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, man. But you know what? Again, I really do have high hopes for her IC title reign. I think in ring wise, we're good.
She's calm.
And maybe having someone like Becky being in the mix might help her to elevate that character work a little bit more. I've seen as well, again, Jones also put a comment about Lyra to need to talk more on TV. I think where Becky's obviously very also promo oriented as well. Is that something that can allow Lyra to kind of get into that bag and, again, elaborate on, again, even if you're going to keep the bird gimmick, why is it that you're so attached to this lore and this fable and this mythical being? Like, what is it that attaches that to wrestling for you that makes you so good at what you do? I think that's just maybe the missing thing that we need to get here.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential with Lyra, I think. A lot of potential, but we just, like, we're not saddling her with a bad gimmick. We're just not developing the character. The character's not developing as fast as her in-ring prowess has developed.
Yes, yeah.
Like, she's been running this same gimmick since 2018, and no one really can explain what this is. Like, she's actually very fortunate to be where she is, because it just shows how good in ring she is. But no one can explain the gimmick. Like, if, like, God forbid, touch wood, if she got injured, and had nothing to do in ring, and maybe they allowed her to kind of cut promos or whatever the case is, now what can she offer? What can she offer us without being a wrestler? Probably next to nothing.
Nothing.
So, you know, it's not being harsh on her. I just feel like the gimmick just has little to no meaning, and she needs to start connecting with the crowd, because we all know it, in WWE, the wrestling is actually the least important thing. So
it's true. Again, if she was in somewhere like AEW, would probably this kind of gimmick would probably work a lot better because again, that's a way more of a pro wrestling.
It wouldn't work better. It wouldn't work better. It just wouldn't matter. Like it just wouldn't matter. Good point. She could just go out there and wrestle and be calm and be pulling off some great matches. Like right now, Jamie Hayter in AEW, she looks like she's out of that 70s show. What's her gimmick? Like, we just know she's a great wrestler, but what the heck is that gimmick where she's dressing like she's someone from the 70s? Exactly. So it's like what these men are doing it doesn't matter. Like, because as long as they can go into the ring over there, then they're good, really. Like, so anyway, we'll move on to some other championship stuff that's happening. We won't spend too long on this because it's Saturday night main event, which they're promoting on the 25th of January, I want to say.
So it's right before the Rumble, isn't it?
Yeah, a week before the Rumble, which is a good TV opportunity to promote the Rumble, I guess. But other than that,
is it going to be on Netflix, by the way, or is it still going to be? Is it going to be similar to what it was before? Where I think it was on YouTube.
It'll probably be on YouTube. Yeah, it'll probably be on YouTube. I don't know about Netflix because it's going to be on NBC in America. So we'll see. But they've penned in 2 matches already. 2 matches that look like they should be very interesting. Sheamus versus Bron Breakker for the IC title, and Gunther versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight title. We'll just quickly touch on Sheamus and Bron Breakker first. At what point is Sheamus going to win the Intercontinental title? Is this going to happen? Is this where it's going to happen? What do you think?
If it is going to happen, though, just don't do it on Saturday night's main event, bro. That's just my thing. Because, again, it's a TV special. And, again, if we're stripping back Netflix and we're going to do on NBC or, again, it's going to be select to whatever markets it's going to be, bro, I don't know, man. I feel like, again, Sheamus, who has been in WWE for years, and the story we've heard for years is it's the one belt he cannot win. It's got to be on for me, it's a big 4 PLE situation. It's got to be a Mania, a SummerSlam, a Rumble, Survivor Series even, and I would have said, nah, but for me, like, I think the desirable thing for him is to win it at WrestleMania. But obviously, I don't know if they've got someone maybe a bit more of a main eventer in mind for Bron Breakker, even if Bron Breakker is even going to be the champion, if things might change. But I don't know, man. I don't think Saturday night's main event is the place to put the title on Sheamus. I want him to win the title. I just don't think it's there.
Likewise, I want him to win the title, but I don't think this is the place. I don't think we need to continue this continuous pursuit of Sheamus winning the title. Like, cool down on it for a while, let him build himself back, come back for it maybe a later part of the year, because every time you're egging it and kind of pushing it right down our throats now, but it's a bit too much. Like, he has never won the IC title. Like, you keep because unless you're gonna put it on him now, why do we keep hammering it home, sort of thing? But I think at some point, because there is this other person looming, right? And he kind of looms over these 2 matches we're talking about, in a sense. And I'm talking about Goldberg. Goldberg apparently has penned some type of deal to have a retirement match in the WWE. I would assume it would be in Saudi when they go to Saudi later on in the year. But it could be WrestleMania. Now, I either think Gunther might face Goldberg, or I'm thinking if Bron Breakker drops the title sometime between now and April, you're going to get Bron Breakker versus Goldberg at WrestleMania, which is his idol. That is Bron Breakker's idol. That would be a very good person for Bron to beat and kind of, get the quote unquote rub. Yeah, if he beat Goldberg. I don't know what that means in 2025, but it might mean something to some people.
I hear it, but again, my proposal would be that you don't run. I would rather you run Kaiser and Bron at Saturday night's main event. Let a TV special be something to showcase Kaiser again, who we're still very much getting used to as a talent, and then have Bron Breakker and Sheamus at the Rumble. Because again, Rumble's going to be Rumble for me. I don't know, man. I feel like you've been building this whole thing for Sheamus for ages, and it just feels like, bro, if you're gonna do it for him, like, do it for him on a big stage. bear in mind, yeah, the first time we really got traction of this story with him was Clash at the Castle. And that was the match that everyone left us with the talking point was them two. Then we've been, again, like you said, we've been consistently running this back. I feel like you can't keep running a story like this back and you put it on a TV special that's no more than 2 hours and nobody even really cares about it that much because it's not going to be super centric to, again, the storytelling that's going on all throughout and whatever. I feel like it's better to have Sheamus have that, put Ludwig Kaiser versus him on Saturday night's main event. And then, if you want to run Breakker and Goldberg at WrestleMania, run it. That's fine. But don't limit Sheamus winning the one belt this man has not won his entire career. Bear in mind, Sheamus is obviously, he's not really wrestling like he's in the twilight of his career, but obviously we know, he's got more years behind him than he does ahead of him. If you're going to give him the moment, bro, give it to him at a moment where he deserves it, man. Sheamus has been consistent, bro. Sheamus has been amazing for me quite a lot of the time. Bro, you got to give it to him, man.
At this point, like they've it's like the boy who cries wolf. They've told us, Sheamus Intercontinental Championship match now, and it's like, guys got to do it. Until the point where they book a PLE in Ireland, I'm not flinching. I'm not blinking. I don't even think it's gonna happen. If I see them book a PLE in Ireland, I'm awake because that's where it might actually happen.
Has to happen there.
Yeah, but right now, I don't see it, and definitely not on this show. Let's move over Gunther and Jey Uso. I thought this was a pretty good segment to kind of motivate this match. Gunther seemed like back to his regal best, nice kind of attire, double-breasted blazer, and Jey Uso came in and laid his challenge down. Yeah, but Gunther was like, well, you're an established tag team guy and that's what you are. Like, I'll make an example out of you, all that kind of thing. Jay came back with some good rebuttal, but I think more than anything, this might just be to get Saturday night main event hype with Jay's entrance. I can't see him winning the world title. I can't see him winning the world title on Saturday night main event. This is probably just a place for Gunther to have a pay-per-view match, probably main event the show, because the Cody match with Kevin Owens is the next week at Royal Rumble, so Cody probably won't be on the show. So a nice kind of main event spot for Goldberg. Why do I keep saying Goldberg? Gunther. I think this is just a standard retention for him.
I think they're going to lead into that story of Gunther being too overconfident. Because I think what's going to happen is, obviously, he was doing it before, and then obviously when he was kind of barely scraping by with these matches, it was like, he kind of lost his mojo. Then he won a match and then he got it back. And I feel like what's going to happen is he's going to go into this, and obviously, I feel like what we're going to get is we're going to get a bit of a squash at first. Then Jay's going to obviously, have his comeback. He's going to hit probably 87 super kicks, and then, Gunther's going to kick out 2.9, and then he's going to stress and everything like that. Like, I can see already, like, this match is to kind of maybe boost that Gunther story a little bit more of like, he's a bit too cocky because he thinks he's too untouchable. And then someone kind of comes and shows him that he's not who he kind of thought he was. I kind of see it, especially with the way Jay cut that promo where he's like, people don't see me as, I still see me as a singles guy, blah, 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 blah. This whole promo he did going into it was like very reminiscent of the one he did with Roman when they fought a Clash of Champions, when he was like, people basically used to ask me, which twin am I? Like, it was a very similar promo to that, right? Yeah. And again, in that match, Jay was just proving like, I can kick out of this. Oh, he's got a bit of a fight in him. Oh, he's got a bit of resilience. I think it's the same thing. But again, Gunther's winning. We're not getting Jey Uso winning the world title with Saturday as main event. It's not happening. No. But truth be told, there's a bit of a queue. I think one thing that's happening, just not to divert too much, but I think Drew McIntyre definitely needs to win the world title this year. And I think Drew might even win Money in the Bank and basically run it back, but this time cash in on Punk, like Punk as champion. And obviously Punk Jinnels him last time, he messed it up for him, but this time he cashes in on Punk. Wait, this is why I'm saying the Money in the Bank match needs to be at WrestleMania, because remember we had last year's WrestleMania. It's literally played the mirror on night one. Have Drew win the title. Night two, if you want, Punk wins. and they literally have that. You could imagine, yeah, just playing on this again for a second. Let's say Rollins was the world champion. You do Rollins and Punk. Punk wins. You can have Rollins again be mad, snap at the fact that he lost again, beat up Punk. Drew comes out and does the same thing that Damian Priest did to him. Like, bro.
Yeah. I think it could be as simple as that. But we'll see. But I said that to say anyway, there's probably a bit of a queue before we get to names such as Jey Uso winning the world title, Sami Zayn. I think there's something in Sami Zayn winning the world title as well. But I think
with Sami, the story they're probably going to tell with him is about, because I think Karrion Kross was obviously saying like, oh, you know, you're going to go into the Rumble and kind of like help your boy win it. And I feel like the story we're going to go into it is like, is Sami gonna, you know, fall to the wayside for Roman, or is he gonna be like, nah, bro, nah, low-key, like, I want to main event WrestleMania. Like, and again, that's a little thing to keep Sami in the main event, kind of upper mid card to main event spot that he's been in for a while.
I mean, he should go to scrap Roman in the Rumble 100%, but then Roman should dump him out.
Yeah,
like maybe not easily. They can have a little back and forth, but then like it should be a case where maybe before the last couple people, and maybe Sami is like within the last 6 or last 8, him and Roman come head to head a bit because they've cleared everyone else. You have a little bit of a back and forth, but then Sami gets dumped out by Roman, showing him that, you know, okay, we can link up to do bloodline things, but I'm still superior to you, sort of thing. Like,
you still acknowledge me, bruv.
Yeah, exactly that. It's not his time yet, but I do think Sami is in the queue, should I say, to become world heavyweight champion at the very least. And then just to wrap up the show, we will talk about, I guess, some people that are, well, I just left the title scene, in Damian Priest, Finn Balor, this saga between them, Judgment Day. Now, this match they had a match at Bad Blood, if I remember correctly. Priest and Balor. This match was 10 times whatever they did on Bad Blood. Like, I thought this match was wicked on Raw as the main event. I think even the little angle that they had in it.
Very good at gimmick matches. Damian Priest is very good at gimmick matches. Very good.
Yeah. Even the little angle they had, where it looked like Finn Balor was really like done, and then, you know, Priest just threw him back into the ring, like he just saw red basically. I thought that was all well done as well. Damian Priest got the win here. You would think he's done with the Judgment Day at this point.
I think he's going to announce himself for the Rumble next week.
Yeah, that would be the next step. But I think just looking long term, I don't know where he goes, because he's 1, not winning the Rumble. 2, he can stay in and around challenging people on Raw, but I don't know if he's better as a heel. I don't know if he's better on SmackDown. Like, I think he could be in the IC title picture.
I think he could be in the IC title picture, if I'm honest, you know. I know some people might be like, oh, he was in the world title scene for all of last year, and it kind of could be seen as a bit of a demotion. But again, we got to realize that, like, with wrestling, there's an ebb and a flow. Like, not everybody who's been in the world title picture forever stays in the world title picture. It's good to have an ebb and a flow, and you know, having him in the mix with a Bron Breakker, a Ludwig Kaiser, you know, these kinds of guys is good for Damian Priest, because again, Damian Priest is very good in the ring, and his character's kind of gotten to a point where we've established, you know, who he is now. So you can just let him be in the IC title picture and just, again, let him show that in-ring prowess that we know that he has, isn't it? I think an IC title picture is probably good for him.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I just think he needs to have something. They need to have a plan for him, because the good work they've done in getting him to the main event, yeah, he may not stay in the world championship picture, but we can't let him drop too far down the card. So, yeah, I think that could be a good kind of landing spot. As for Finn Balor, listen, people are saying Balor is buried. But for me personally, I don't know, I might just be the stupid optimist. I just think that he is doing some good work right now, putting others over, and his just desserts are coming soon. That's what I want to think anyway. I just think that we could see him.
So do you think he's in the queue, of people in the world title to win the World Heavyweight Championship?
With my blind faith, yes. I honestly think he's there. Like I can see people that are definitely there, and I'll hold my hands up and say I want Balor to be there more than I think he is there.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like I think it may be like post Judgment Day stuff. I think even if now he can turn back and go for the next person in the Judgment Day, Dominic Mysterio. Oh, where were you when, you know, all of these guys came to help? Where were you last night or the last week? And he starts a feud with Dominic Mysterio now. Dominic Mysterio beats him or whatever. Because I think that would probably happen.
I can tell you now how this is gonna go.
Go on.
He's gonna say something to him next week. In the Royal Rumble, Dominic is throwing Finn Balor out. I'm telling you now. Dominic is throwing him out.
That's fine. Like, I need Judgment Day to be finished, finito, cease, done. Like,
I think where we get with Finn Balor, I think Dominic is probably the last person I think he needs to put over in terms of like where we're at with him now. So the way I saw it, when he was on the stretcher and he was getting wheeled out, at first I thought, oh, he's going to get wheeled out and then, you know, things are still going to go wrong for him. And what I thought this was going to be was like all this vexation with not winning against Priest was going to be like, is this the nudge of him getting back into potentially bringing back the demon at some point in time? All this frustration is going to build up inside of him. The Judgment Day falling apart, Dominic not listening to him. I don't know what happens with JD and Carlito and whatever the case may be, but part of me thinks like, is this a very slow, agonizing frustration build to him eventually kind of going, I need to be the prince. And more importantly, I need to bring back the demon because maybe people have forgotten who I actually am and what I'm capable of. And part of me thinks, is this that soft launch into getting there? But I think Dominic is the last stop of that. You know, Dominic and Finn might have a one-on-one match at Mania or something like that. And, you know, that would be good for Dom to kind of have a match with someone who's very good in ring, someone to kind of let Dom showcase them skills that he's got. But again, as well, it's like it's a bit weird because it's like I don't know if Dom's still getting pushed for a face turn yet. I don't see Dom being the heel and Finn Balor being a face right now. I feel like Finn's still a heel, and if it's going to go in a certain way, it'd be Dom being the face. But I just don't know, innit?
No, yeah, I feel like you said he needs to put over Dom. I think Dom is still very much a heel. I think Dom could, if they are brave enough and they think the guy's ready, could win something like Money in the Bank and cash in on like a CM Punk. And that would just turn the place crazy. Like they could do all of that.
Another person who won the world title and Finn Balor didn't.
Well, yeah. That could all happen. But like you're saying, I think we pretty much need to reach ground zero with Finn. He has nothing left, and he sees that as the means to reinvent himself, and then the upwards trajectory begins. That's how I've kind of thought about it in my head. Like I said, I know I'm very aware of this is blind faith, and this is what I want over more so what I think may happen. And I understand like a lot of people will think, right, this guy's on the other side of 40 and his days at the top are done. They're not interested anymore. I hear all of that. But for me, I just feel like after that 1 day Universal title reign, we need to right our wrongs. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we do. And again, Triple H is in charge. Finn Balor is Triple H's boy.
Yeah.
Triple H will amend that wrong for him 100%. 100%.
Yeah. If it's not, if we're talking back NXT times now, if it wasn't for maybe Kenta, if it wasn't Kenta, then Balor was like his first, it was probably Kenta, to be honest, followed by Balor. But those are his first two big international indie signings that he made to NXT. So yeah, I just think like we need this before Balor, sees the end of this career. I need it more than anything. Him with the world title, and we go from there. We'll see if it happens. But yeah, man, that was mainly WWE Raw. We covered all the main story beats that happened, and like we saying, we got Saturday Night Main Event in a couple of weeks to look forward to. And I'm sure they're going to add a few more matches to that card over the next few weeks. People are declaring themselves for the Rumble, which is very interesting to see. That conversation hasn't necessarily opened for the women just yet. In terms of
no one's announced themselves yet.
Who's going into the Rumble?
I think maybe SmackDown or Raw coming. I think we're probably going to get the women start to kind of declare themselves for the Rumble. I can see, obviously, actually, no, sorry. Nia Jax did basically mention that when I win the Rumble, So she's kind of she's unofficially announced herself to going into the Rumble,
Yeah, but I think this Raw was it was a really good one. It felt rejuvenated. It felt like we've got out of the way all the Netflix corporate bits and this, that, and the other, and we're back to wrestling and telling stories on TV, which was impressive. So exactly that. So really, really good. Guys, that is our Raw review for the week. We will be back next week on we'll be back on Thursday with AEW Dynamite. If you guys are watching AEW, tune in. This should be an interesting show. We got Powerhouse Hobbs versus the champion, so we'll see who's gonna walk.
Kenny Omega and Brian Cage on Wednesday.
Kenny Omega, Brian Cage on Wednesday.
Yeah, man, I'm there. I don't think you man understand. The Kenny and Gabe Kidd match. I will watch every Kenny Omega match this year on my flipping life. I don't care.
You were so special. So special. So special. So yeah, there's quite a lot to talk about on Thursday. So I hope you guys all come back and join us then. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here as well. And download the podcast on your Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whatever you listen to as well. Gabe, you want to tell the people where they can find you?
Yes, Scraps with Gabe, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Please follow. You know the drill, man. Follow, all of that good stuff, man.
Yep, definitely follow along for your updates from Gabe and his opinions as well. And like I say, we'll be back on Thursday, AEW Dynamite review. WrestleManiac UK signing out, and I'll see you soon.